In this video, I'll show you how I made a simple fender. Now, fender is probably something we'll purchase, but you will need something to show on your assembly. And now remember, my tire sizes are different than yours, so this is based on a smaller tire size. So first thing I did was draw, well, I looked at the diameter of my tire. I want my fender to be, to sit up above the tire by some distance, and again, I don't know exactly what that is, a few inches. So this diameter here is going to be bigger than your tire. Obviously, you want the tire to fit inside of here. So in my case, I ended up using 15, and then this is kind of thick, but I don't want to make it too thin. It's hard to see a difference if I make this thing too thin. Oops, not ready to finish that sketch. Okay, so now I'm only going to need a slice of this. And to give myself a reference here, I'm going to create a construction line, just make sure that's vertical. Right click that, turn it into a construction line, right click it again, and then fix it because I'm going to dimension to it. So now you want to kind of figure out how much of a slice of this you want for your fender. And I don't know what that number is, depends on what you want out of your design. I just started out with something like that. I said, okay, it's going to be 80 degrees total. If that's, you want it longer, just make that angle bigger. If you want it shorter, make that angle smaller. Now, essentially what I need to do here is trim away all the rest of this that I don't need. Okay. So again, this will be looking at the side of the fender. Let's finish that sketch. And now, depending on the width of your tire, remember mine is, my tire's not as wide. It's going to determine the width of your fender here. So I just made mine like 4.5. You want to cover your tire, but don't make it too wide. It'll look kind of silly. And so there's a start. Now, turn that plane on. It's pretty ugly though, and you don't want, on any kind of vehicle, you don't want really sharp corners. It's very, very dangerous. And you want it to look good too. So I want to round that off. So what I want to do here is give myself a work plane up here. Do an offset plane. And let's see, I just want to get to that. That'll work. Doesn't have to be an exact in an exact place, except some place that I can be close to this surface here. So what I want to do is kind of round this thing up, make it look a little more stylish and also safer. I'll use this 3-point arc. Now I'm just kind of ballparking this, right? You can make this be anything you want. I'm just going for something that looks, kind of rounded off, and that works for me. I can put, I don't even care about that dimension. I'm just going for the look of this. And again, I don't care about dimensions right now. If I was a fender manufacturer, that'd be a different story. So you can see my sketch there. And I'm just going to extrude cut that. And that just looks a lot better. I'm pretty happy with that. Do the same thing on the other end, and the easiest way to do that is going to be just to mirror it. Let's try that again. Mirror face plane. Features to mirror. Okay, yeah, not sure. I clicked on the wrong thing somewhere. Okay, let's just hide this for now. So that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. It'll be easy to modify this if I want to change something on it. I do need to put some mounting holes on there, which depending on where you want to mount it, if you want to mount it like right here on the center, then that's pretty easy. I shifted mine off to the side, but because for the front, it looks kind of silly. It depends on your mounting bracket. So because I want mine to be off center a little bit. Let's see. I need some kind of a plane to work with here. How about that one? So what I want to do is rotate this plane. So I'll need an axis. Click on plane. Those two planes, that'll give you an axis there. Then what I can do is, oops, start over on that. First reference will be that axis. Second reference will be this plane here. And then I want to decide about an angle. And that's 90. I don't know. I want a pretty shallow angle. Maybe something like that. And just to make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing then, I could actually work with that plane, but let me just do an offset. I don't know what that number is going to be. I'd like to be kind of on top of, that works right there. Okay, let me hide some, I got a lot of stuff here. Let me just hide some of this. Don't really need any of this right now. We'll need that mid-plane there. Okay, so now I can sketch on that plane 3. And put my mounting holes. And they don't need to be really big holes. 1/4, 3/8, something like that's good. Okay, so see why I moved that angle so I can punch those holes through there and extrude cut those. And there are my mounting holes. Now you are going to have to come up with some mounting brackets. You cannot just weld, you can't weld or drill holes in the fork tubes. You have to come up with some sort of mounting brackets that span those forks, something that would bolt on and then bolt them through. Just 2 bolts would be fine. Let's see, if you look at my bike, you'll see how I did that. Oops, I don't have the bolts in there yet, but anyway, see how I bolt them out. See why I offset the bolt holes, because that would look silly if the fender was sticking out in the front. And then you have to do something. So now I cheated a little. I used the same, you can tell because I got these holes that I'm not using. I should redo that back fender, but I used the same fender and I just came up with a mounting bracket that would let me put a tube across there and a tube there, and that's be plenty stiff. It needs to be something that, the fender can't be falling off when you're riding the bike. Right, so that's kind of an easy way. Again, probably a part that we'll purchase. We could make these, but you do want to show fenders, and you need fenders on a bike like this. Otherwise, what's going to happen is going to throw all the rocks and everything is going to come flying up and hit you. So that's a kind of a simple fender design, and you're going to come up with something. If you want to make it, I think ultimately I came back and filleted these edges and stuff as much as I can to make it look a little more finished, but I'll leave that up to you.